Oh, good evening. Welcome to Hang Out in the Crib. I'm the BP professor, and I'm paying lots of attention. And I'm beerless. We'll have to fix. We'll have to fix that. But anyway,
Is that
welcome to Hang Out.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Welcome to Hang Out in the Crib, and I'm joined by the BPC Crib crew. We got a full crew. We got Hefe.
Howdy, everybody.
And we got George.
Evening, everybody.
And we got Rum Runner at the beginning of the show.
Good afternoon.
And the whole shh.
Hello, everyone.
And so the big news is they just announced the FM changes, so we'll go through that for you. I was doing some math and frantically making a slide as of 3 minutes ago, so we'll see how that comes out. Maybe we'll find some errors. Maybe we won't. And we'll talk about VXP weekend and other stuff too. But talk amongst yourselves about the raid. I'm going to get a beer.
Already. It does look like a beer glass is mounted to his wall on the left. He's got a new angle on his webcam.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice that. Of course, that's the first thing that you notice.
Well, that's what I saw it when he mentioned getting a beer. Not many people have a beer glass. What appears to be a beer glass mounted to the
We're not
wall.
talking about the raid. We're talking about the beer glass that's mounted to your wall, or at least that's what Heavy thinks it is.
The beer glass? That?
I guess.
No, that's just a wall light.
Yeah, it's a scone.
Okay.
A sconce.
Scones. Okay.
Scones, that's what it is, scones.
Scones are what you eat.
Scones, what you eat. Yeah. I have brain farts. I'm
I
sorry.
got my last dreamsicle, by the way, for those who keep track of my beer.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like 3 weeks running. We need to up their rate as far as how much they pay us for you to advertise on the. That's like 3 or 4 weeks straight. We need to get some new guys.
I think Mad Tree's doing just fine without our advertising.
Okay. All righty. Well, we'll see.
All right, so let me start the slides, and we'll get into it. Share my screen. There we go. All right. So, Caress of Steel. Let's talk about the raid. How'd you guys do?
Really well. I was really lazy. Really well. Got a lot of testing in. I was actually pleasantly surprised by this raid. I actually was.
Yeah, I bought a LTO. I bought like 5 tokens beforehand. I think I mentioned that to do that TLC, and got the Phantom. And then so I had that built for the raid, and yeah, I found it pretty easy. I didn't really spend any. I spent less than 10 coin. I mean, to get 200 million or whatever. Holsch, Hefe, how'd you guys do? Rum?
I got 340 million and just relatively easy without much trouble.
Yeah. You using Phantom Fangtooth or?
Yeah, I had the Phantom and 4 Fangs, and then for a while I used basically 3 hulls of the Hunter with 1 that was built out. I just threw them in there for all the resistances. Went up and killed that first Gluttony, and then just finished out the target.
Yeah. I think I did that a few times.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
And there were options for lower level players as well. I mean, there was that little ability to go into the 85s, poke the gluts there. The 40 whatever the heck they were was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it's low points, but it was only 1 target, so I guess that was all right.
Yeah,
all right.
I only hit the Fangtooth depths. I didn't hit the Hunter Bay. I thought it was fairly easy. I mean, it did take a fair amount of time. My only mistake was still an unresolved issue with customer support, where I accidentally claimed 3 M armors instead of 3 X armors, and asked if they could swap them. and they agreed to. But all they actually did was take away my 3 charged M armors and didn't give me any X armors. And they haven't responded to me in 2 days after they did that. So I was forced to use points from the raid to buy 3 more X armors because they still haven't got back to me. So I didn't really expect that to happen. I'm not even sure what they're going to do if they ever respond to me. I mean, at the very least, they should give me my charged M's back that they took away.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I found out, I didn't give them high grades for that response.
Yeah. All right. So we don't talk about the raid?
Or I'll say what.
Oh, Hulsh, right.
Yeah, I had
We forgot Hulsh.
Full Phantom Fleet with the flag, but I didn't have any charged armor, but still did it relatively easily. I wish the Phantom target took a little bit less time.
Yeah.
And George, I saw you mention it on the on a Facebook group or something about the thorns. I guess those electric eels had some thorns, so you'd just take damage for hitting those.
Mm-hmm. Only when that shield was up.
Yeah, and I felt that was really annoying because it wasn't enough to really do significant damage, but it was just enough to make you have to mess with your ships and repair one at a time, and it just slowed you down instead of really being challenging.
I am not a fan of it at all. It's exceptionally annoying.
For right now, that could always be the escalation damage for the next 2 raids. They could turn it up.
But the only time that you really have to worry about it is if you're autoing, because if you're driving, you can time it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just whether you take it and you have to take your ships apart to repair them one at a time, or if you wait till the shield goes away and then you don't take it. Either way, it just slows you down.
Yeah,
it's not
it takes up. Yeah, it's a time eater. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
the other thing is, George, that could get into the punitive nature of the target that we don't like. Is where you make a mistake, they take away half your fleet. So it just depends upon how much they escalate it.
I didn't really run into that.
No, I'm saying that could be their escalation.
That's how you make it.
I mean, you could make them punitive, but I don't know that they're really going down that track. It looks like they're kind of going back to you have to take some sort of damage in the target, even if it's a little bit, unless you mess up. And then if you mess up, you're not going to die, but you're going to take a decent chunk of damage. It's not like half the fleet this time or half a boat this time.
Yeah.
I think they've learned not to do that because as they transition these into the map, I mean, everyone gets pissy about them. Like, hell, I'm pissy about half the map targets because they all suck.
Well, yeah, you can't auto any decent map targets anymore, right?
Nope.
And then, I mean, I mean, to get a little off topic, right? The fireballs in the Reaver targets are just inappropriate.
Oh yeah, I mean, I actually refit anti-mortars into the fleet.
Yeah, I guess
I can't. I don't want to deal with it. I just don't. Not at all do I want to deal with it.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's a chore. I mean, you have so much of that crap to do that, everything that takes a little bit of time, and that's actually a really good point. Anything that adds a little bit of time when it gets to the map target just makes the chores that more unbearable.
Right.
Larry, did you have any luck figuring out what triggered, I'm speaking mostly to the Fangtooth depths, what triggered some of those walls to pop up?
I haven't. I thought it was location, but every once in a while, it would pop earlier than you expect, or sometimes it wouldn't pop when you do expect. And it was I think it was just location, but I think every once in a while it glitched. That's the best I could tell.
Yeah, because sometimes I was able to go in and kill that one just below that landmass, and the wall wouldn't pop up like 3 or 4 times in a row, and which made life a lot easier.
Yep.
But then sometimes, and I think it's like hanging out in that upper middle right hand time. If you sneak around to the sides, it didn't seem to pop up as often. But sometimes I was forced to, because there were some weird mechanics to that whole raid as far as, like sometimes you didn't know where the viperfish were coming from, and they would arrive late to the game, and if you'd already killed everything, then they went back up.
And so then they were just hard to find.
Yeah, because
So-
but if you waited to kill everything, if you like sort of outran everything and let it arrive and get in so it could see you, it was almost more beneficial than killing some of the other, the viperfish or whatever earlier.
Well, the vipers are the pointy ones, and then the goblin sharks are the fat ones that
The chubby
I think you're
ones.
talking about. Yeah, they get all mad because you kill one of their friends, and then it's like you fat shame them or something, then they get mad.
Yeah,
I was finding
that was going on last night. Yeah.
I was finding some really weird mechanics with those things too when they overloaded. Like there were some of them that would die with just like one shot, and then there were a couple of them that would take like 4 or 5 while they were overloaded.
I thought they were
Weird.
real sensitive to being in the dread fields when they're overloaded, and that they
Ooh.
take a lot more damage in the dread field.
I didn't even think of that.
But I had
No
some,
kidding.
even when they weren't overloaded, that would die with, like, some of them took 5 times as long to kill than others.
Right.
And it didn't really seem, from what I could tell, to deal if they were on overload or not. It just seems like, you're going to have, 10 of them on the map, and we're randomly going to place some that have 5 times as much armor as other ones.
That's kind of the way I felt, Hefe.
I still felt like, well, every once in a while I felt like some were harder to kill than others, but I still feel like the dread just made a huge difference on those goblins. And especially because, it wasn't if they were in dread when you fired, it was if they were in dread when your torpedoes hit. So it wasn't always like intuitive. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense though. I'm gonna have to test that out. Next raid, yay! Or actually,
right.
test that out in VXP weekend, right?
Sure,
Yeah,
you have
we
my
should be able
permission.
to.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we should be able to. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad I have your permission. I am going to now make sure I schedule it and take video and get you to stamp prove it.
Yep.
You're gonna
No
have to. You're
schedule
gonna have to
required.
make,
You can do it at,
approved.
but
you can
you're
do
gonna
it
have to make you're gonna have to make an
anytime during
appearance.
the weekend.
You're gonna have
We
to
need
make
to
an
get him a
appearance.
stamp that says "Prof approved."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Too bad the Google effects are gone. Make a little sound. I mean, and I noticed that Liam hasn't shown up he doesn't show up that often after the Google effects are gone, so he can't put the glasses and the hats on. Did anybody else notice that? Or is it unrelated? It could be unrelated.
Yeah, okay. I don't watch those shows.
Okay.
All right. I think we've had enough fun with this raid. Let's talk VXP weekend, which George was just talking about. Nice transition, George.
All right, good segue. Yay!
Yeah. Okay, so same raider targets as last time, but no uranium this time. So, sucker. Unidentified raider will only spawn for first 36 hours. Pay out VXP. Also pay out a 10k Defender class VXP token when destroyed. That's good to know. Because I want to build some Defenders soon.
What are you going to build?
Courage. I haven't built any yet.
Did you buy any extra from the raid?
Yeah, I got one from Bounty and one from the raid.
So I got 2 from the original, but I didn't buy any more yet.
Yeah. So yeah, hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how this impacts the spawn rates. Because if people are going out there to kill them relative to get VXP from them, we could find this to be a lean VXP weekend if there's a lot of people just going out with their fangtooth and just killing these targets.
Yeah,
and there's nothing there to be had, and they're killing them with skulled subs.
Right.
It really, they need to be very vigilant about the spawn rates if this is what they're planning to do.
Truth.
Yeah, especially if people want to rack up. I mean, unless they have a low stack limit for the VXP tokens.
Mm.
I mean, if they limit it to like 5 at a time, then
Yeah, then you
That
can
would
only get
take
5.
care of, yeah, that would take care of the whole issue, and you could still get your courages ranked.
No, didn't you need 100K?
I think. I mean, you go out, you hit 5, use them up. Go out, hit 5.
Oh, but I don't have them built yet.
Eventually. Oh, I see. Oh, I'm saying. I was saying, like, if you had them and you wanted, instead of having someone
Yeah,
go out
yeah.
and farm the hell out of them and just stack up 100 tokens.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole uranium thing, like, that didn't bother me when I first saw it, but now, in conjunction with what they said about the FM next week, that's so I'm starting to wonder if they're going to start throttling down the availability of uranium.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with the Reaver targets, right? It's already harder to get those than megas, right? I mean, the megas, I'd auto 3 at a time: one with Apollos, one with Skyfires, and one with Phoenix.
Yeah, but that's titanium, right?
Titanium, yeah.
Oh, uranium, right? Sorry.
Yeah, because in the FM, I have no problem not getting uranium in the FM because I don't have a problem with it. But the thing is, I was thinking about the first 3 levels. A lot of the mid and low level players, that's where they get their uranium from.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I just looked at that, and I mean, we have that campaign thingy, the daily campaign that gives you like 300,000 uranium, which is awesome.
If you can do it.
If you can do it, right?
But
So
people are having that the people who are depending on the FM for uranium are
boned. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also makes me think that they're throttling down on uranium so much, while last month they were increasing it, with all this stuff. It sort of makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if the new road crews are coming out
Yeah. Maybe.
at some point soon, and they're trying to control the uranium economy before that.
R&D 31.
Mm-hmm.
We
Soon.
coming soon.
Yeah.
There's something else I was thinking about VXP weekend.
Yeah, what's going on with the invasions? Like, someone was asking me, that's been in the state of the game for quite a while now, like since the summer, right? That's coming soon too, right?
Oh, you don't mean invasions. You mean expeditions?
Yeah.
No, invasions. It says invasions on the state of the game.
Oh, where our old fleets go out and do something?
It says travel to the glowing sea and repair free combat where your score is based on timed destruction. Not sure what the score is going to translate to or what is available or what, but that's been up on the state of the game since summer.
Yeah.
That's just another coming soon that's just been sitting around and
Yeah, that'd be nice to get in the game, actually.
Those are probably rainy day projects, right?
Maybe.
Oh, so the other thing I was thinking about this VXP weekend is, and we'll talk about it when we talk about the FM. Segue coming soon. But since you get tokens, can get ship build tokens this week before VXP weekend, use them wisely, because if you can tune up some of your hulls before VXP weekend, you can get a lot more points from doing damage instead of just having to suicide over and over again.
Yeah.
So take advantage of that.
And try and time your shipyard so you get all your stuff out and use up the tokens that you got kicking around if you have to get something new out on the water quick.
Yep.
Yeah, and you should, if you started yesterday, because you could, even if you get the bottom end, you can still get the Apex Hunter out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be 2 days short on tokens because I got a 1 day for the prize instead of a 3 day.
Yeah, I got a 1 and a 3. I was afraid of the first one. I got a 1 day, and I'm like, oh, they did this knowing they're just going to give us 2 1 days.
Exactly.
I got a 1 and a 3. So yeah, I'm gonna have spare tokens left over after the Apex is done. And I was already able to build all the basically Blake Hunters before, because I don't plan to use them next raid cycle. I plan to use them the following raid cycle. So at least I'm not worried about getting them skulled. I'm worried about getting some amount of rank on them at this point, and then wait for the escalation weapons and do that for the third raid cycle, as opposed to trying to throw them on and take them off again and not really have them completely ready. Because as we'll show later in the slides, it's really, really beneficial to have 5 of these, or the Apex and 4 Mark 1s.
So what if they come out and do what they did with the Fang VXP, to where you actually need to have more weapons on it to complete the VXP target?
We'll see.
All right. Speaking of hunter stacking, here's the chart.
Yep. The top, we'll get a little bit more into splash damage reduction throughout the game. Shows up graphically as being additive. There's no way in hell that it is additive. At least not, or either that or something's really broken. So I'm assuming that it's multiplicative in these stats. And I just wanted to show on the top, this is just a base Apex. I'm sorry, MK1, not the Apex, because they start with higher. But this is just the base and just showing concussive explosive damage and splash damage reduction as you get more ships.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying that the other thing that isn't shown in that chart is the deflection, right? Because you get plus 200 deflection. So you combine that higher resistance with deflection that goes from 0 to 200 to 1,000.
Yeah. I was assuming that was sort of easy math of 200 to 1,000.
It's easy math, but it makes a big difference, especially when you combine it.
Yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to bring up as it relates to this, the bottom one is just one that I equipped with nothing special, but these were the base numbers after I put on ablative and some antis and some charged armors, and this is what I got. I just wanted to show the escalation that you got by using multiple ships. What, Holst, was that you making noises?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like the minimum damage per shot to hit one of the with the 5 in a fleet and the explosive that high, and you would need a shot worth 1 million damage.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I was working out. It really depends on, because we haven't really got a lot of information as far as when and how the splash damage reduction works.
Yep.
And it's difficult to test. But one thing that that we did notice was the mortars that we see in these targets are a combination of splash and explosive. So if you're taking away 98.7% of the explosive damage and then 92.2% of the splash damage, those mortars really shouldn't bother you too much once you combine those two. But if you take something that's accuracy based, like a torpedo that's also concussive, I mean, you get yourself to 95, but you're not getting that additional bonus dealing with splash damage. Mm-hmm. So it might be evade is, from some of the testing that's gone on, and this, it just makes me think the Guidance Scrambler 3 on some of these ships might be, very helpful as far as mitigating some of the damage from these targets.
So the only thing when I saw torpedoes come into my Fangtooth, I don't think they ever missed. And I had Scrambler on. So I agree with the sentiment. It would be nice to be able to evade some of that aimed damage. Mm-hmm. But I have a hunch that the accuracy of those torpedoes were taken is like 200, 300%. I bet it's something ridiculous.
Well, nice to have data miners again, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was saying that the other day. I mean, the thing is, the target, the testing that It was weird. It was a very strange target to hit with the hunters, and I ended up using 4 charged CTs and no X because the bloody thing is tuned in such a way that the X the X armor wasn't needed because after it goes through the order of operations, it was negligible to the hull, which was really strange. But then I'm not 100% sure, but I think that there's 2 different torpedoes on the hulls, where you have a long range one and then a short range one that does like some serious damage. So I don't know. I mean, it was an odd target, very odd target, but.
All right, ready to roll?
Roll, baby.
This is, yes, the weird splash stacking where it's really should be multiplicative, but it's additive. So if you fill a gluttony with war plating, you get essentially 9.9% per. You can show 99% splash damage reduction. We're just not sure if that's real.
Well, I mean, if it's just one gluttony, we could always have someone just shoot the damn thing with mortars and see what happens.
Yeah, these actually.
Do you?
I do.
Ooh. What world are you in?
Okay.
100s.
Okay. The reason I put this up here, sorry, I was getting a beer, is the fact that within the game, everything appears to be calculating splash damage reduction as being additive.
Yeah, I just mentioned that, Hefe. You missed it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you were questioning why I put the slide up, or
No, that's exactly what we were talking about. Where it calculates in the print as additive, but we suspect it's actually multiplicative. I was also saying I have a gluttony built like this with a huge amount of war plating. Maybe we'll just test it because I don't know if I've ever really tested it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Y'all have a good night. I've got to go.
All right, Hulsh.
All right.
Take it easy, man.
Hulsh.
See y'all. Good night, everyone.
All right. And the Chubby Hunter. This issue came up over and over and over again with the gluttonies, or not the gluttony, the gut spill Skyfire.
Yep.
And it's back again. So on the Hunter, everybody's using a Blade of Armor 3 because you can't protect against. There's no alloy to help you out against concussive damage, so you load up on the explosive. But this is based on your armor weight, and you have actually an equivalent based on armor points. So you can see here this AA3, which I don't know what percent of the armor weight it is, but it weighs 1546 tons, even though you don't have any actual armor installed. The Apex Hunter, you can see here, Hefe went down to a Blade of 2, and it weighs still a lot more than the base Hunter with a Blade of 3, and that's because it has so much more armor points, 110,000 versus 41,000. So you just got to be careful. You build the Apex the same way as your other Hunters, and then it's all of a sudden overweight, and people are like, why?
Yeah, and the other thing, the reason I chose the Blade of 2 here is you're still ending up with higher explosive damage because of the inherent 70%. But with most common builds, you can fit a Blade of 2 as opposed to dropping other parts of your build.
Okay.
I ended up. I mean, I could fit a Blade of 3 on the Apex. I just dropped the countermeasures.
In your blog art? Oh, you dropped a countermeasure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you drop the countermeasures, those countermeasures might actually make up the difference. Because of the plus 10 each. Either that, or it's close.
I think even with the Blade of 3 on and not having the 2 countermeasures, I think it was still lower overall. At least in Huggies it was.
Okay.
But I don't know. But I also put on Gale 3s on the rest of them where we were testing with only Gale 2s. So I think with all Gale 3s and the D, it should be fine. I hope. I'll find out the hard way soon.
All right.
Trial by fire.
All right, let's keep rolling.
All right.
Now to the FM.
Oh boy.
So change always freaks people out, and here comes change. So just
Yes. And the younger viewers may want to tune off at this point. I'm
oh
sorry.
yeah, Rum, you're laughing. He's warning him about you. He just didn't say it.
Okay, fine. I'll be quiet. Y'all just have fun. All I'm going to say is remember, it's Kixeye we're dealing with.
Right. All right. So so here's the post. Few major changes to the FM. So they're changing the prize redemption structure. Okay. So it's going to be a little more like a raid, because now what you do is you get points and you redeem your points for prizes instead of getting a certain number of points and then reaching a prize pool and then automatically getting the next one on a list. And so you're going to get a pool that looks like this, and you pick which thing you want to spend your points on. I'm going to go back for a second. So now you can earn as many points as you want over the time of the FM. So you get 6.5 days. Used to be a max of 3, and then you reset and you get 3 more. Now you get 6.5, and you can just hit away and redeem as much as you can, as according to the points you have. That'll help people just starting out to, if they really want to grind at it, they can just catch up.
Yep, which is a fantastic addition.
Yes. And then due to the changes how prizes are redeemed, you are no longer able or need to reset the FM. All right, so no resets, it's just one long continuous thing. That's fine again, but there's a couple more details here. Prizes still grouped together in prize pools. Once you redeem a prize from that pool, or if you've previously redeemed all prizes in the pool, you'll have access to the tokens associated with that prize pool. So for those of us who are done with the FM or caught up with the FM, you know, you'd every FM cycle you'd get the new prizes, and then you'd start getting oodles of tokens. So now you can get the prize plus a token, or if there are no prizes left, you just buy the token. The payout has been set up so you'll be hitting the same number of targets to get the points for a prize pool. So that seems to imply that I'm not going to go through the math, but you know, like 50 million was tier 4, so then I don't know whether it's going to be another 300 million to get a tier 5 prize. Hopefully it will, and not 350. I guess we'll just see if they screw you that way. Rum, I know you really want to find ways they're going to screw you. No more uranium. So some players, if you're depending on that uranium, a nice little bump of uranium during the FM, you don't get that anymore. Sorry. Then some targets are changing. The 113 and the 88 are going to be rebalanced and renamed as the 115 and 89. We will see what these look like.
85 or 88? Because that's going to make a huge difference.
88. Did I say 85?
88.
88.
It says, because it says rebalancing the 113 and 85 on the note.
Oh.
Because 88 is
What's
the one
80?
that, the 85 is, I don't think anybody even hits the damn thing. I don't even know if, like the 88 is the one that all the newbies hit, right?
Yeah.
That's the one that we have all those videos out showing them how to do it with like a Punisher. I mean, if they change that,
so.
that would be bad. That would be very bad.
I think that's changing.
Well, they're not even consistent throughout this. I didn't type this up. This is a screenshot. If you look at the second paragraph from the top, I'll be renamed as the 115 and 89 respectively.
Oh yeah, 88, and that
even
one says
though
85.
you know, Rum has a lot of faith in this the quick and dirty version, and the bottom it says 85. So
And there is no chat saying there's no 85. So
okay.
it is the 88.
Yeah, the
Then
88. Yeah,
that's a bad thing.
There's
That's
an
very
82.
bad.
All right. So the TLDR version, prize redemption is now store format, double the hour window, no more uranium. You can get one. Now here's the thing. All right, and we were having a little debate on this before the show, and I have a slide doing a comparison, but we'll get there. So now, without a reset, you can only get one token or one token package, I guess, out of each prize pool each week. All right. So what does that mean? Because before, or the way the FM has been in previous months, right? The week after the raid, you'd get all this new stuff coming out in the FM, and you wouldn't be able to get tokens. Now, you can each week get the new stuff and get a token. So the distribution of the tokens changes throughout the month. And the question we were thinking about is, does this mean you have more tokens than before or less tokens than before? So I think this shows the comparison. So now this is a 3-week FM cycle. Now sometimes you get 4, and I'll talk to that after I'm done going through this. But over your usual 3-week cycle, and this one I assumed that there were 4 new Tier 5 prizes and 1 new Tier 4 prize, which we have seen a lot of the time. You know, sometimes when they do like the armors in Tiers 3, 4, and 5, and then some new garbage in Tier 5, you know, like generalist stuff that you don't want, because generalist is a loser strategy. So you weren't on last week when I said that over and over, George. So, and I feel very validated, by the way.
Yeah.
On how the Zelos did in this raid. Okay, so the old way, week 1, you would get 1 Tier 4 in the FM, so you'd get a 2-day token. And then week 2, you'd still be clearing out Tier 5, but you'd get 2 Tier 4 tokens for a total of 4 days. And then week 3, you'd get all the tokens. You'd get the 4 days, and then in Tier 5, you'd get between 3 and 5 days. Okay, so that means that over the 3-week FM cycle, you'd get between 16 to 20 days of build tokens in that month. All right. The new way, it's the same every week. You get 2 days in Tier 4, and then either 3 or 5 days in Tier 5.
We hope.
So that means you get between 5.
We're just assuming that you actually have the option for the 2+ random.
I am assuming it's the same in Tier 5, so we'll just stick with that. Okay, so what that means is you get 5 to 7 days of tokens each week. And so you go from 16 to 20 days total the old way to 15 to 21 days total the new way. So same average with a little more variance.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing too is week 1, I think the last 2 times after the raid, they've had enough stuff in there where we didn't get that 2-day token the first week either, because I remember people complaining that they didn't get anything for the VXP weekend because they had 2 things in Tier 4.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure if it went back 3 cycles, but I know the last 2.
No, it wasn't that long. Yeah, it was, I think, 2 cycles ago. I do recall that where you were getting multiple prize. I think it was some sort of bullshit armor. Tier 4.
Some loser generalist weapon and some bullshit armor and some.
Yeah, so you didn't even get the 2-day you were hoping for VXP weekend. But yeah, it wasn't that long ago that they did that to us. And yeah, I think you could probably, make that
14 to 18
NC-17 for the show.
Well, that would be 14 to 18 days total, the old way.
Yep. So now, if you go to a 4-week cycle, it is going to be a loss because you'd essentially get a repeat of week 3, right? And so you'd get 10 to 14 days extra the old way, and only 5 to 7 days extra the new way. So there you do get a loss in those 4-week raid cycles.
But we only get that twice a year, right? Once
I
or twice a
guess.
year? I can't remember. Something like that.
Yeah.
But
So
I mean, personally, I like the new, because you have more flexibility with how you're going to build, and also you have a greater chance to, take advantage of VXP weekend with ships that you just got off the raid.
yeah, and the other thing I like is so if you have a build going, right, you could only do one round of the FM, and then you had to use up all those tokens before you did your next round of the FM. And now you don't have to worry about that because you're only getting the one set.
Now, the only caveat to this is that we are assuming that they're going to keep Tier 5 the same or similar drops for the 2+
Yes.
random. And that if that changes, well, there's going to be a lot of upset pirates.
Agreed.
Yeah.
If they drop the amount available in Tier 5, then it is going to start balancing back towards the old way being better. Because you get 3 Tier 5 drops instead of 2 Tier 5 drops in this comparison.
Yeah,
okay.
There's a lot of unknowns here. I mean, yeah, because we don't know what the
Confusion.
115 is going to be like.
Instead of clarity, we always get more confusion because the brief doesn't tell us exactly how it's going to be.
Well, I appreciate the
my
heads
piece
up.
and I'm done.
I appreciate the heads up. I'd rather find out something now so we can have some really good questions going into it rather than wait until next Tuesday and they go, "Oh, surprise, guys!"
Good luck getting an answer to your questions.
Yeah. We'll see what they bring out this month too. It might be tight if they put out a lot of stuff. You might, because, if you think about it, well, if you want to get everything out of the way right away, you're going to have to do the FM more than twice, right?
Right.
But then you'll only have to do it once in the following weeks.
But can't you just get unlimited points until you run out of prizes?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's no times. There's no reset.
Well, right. So you could spend your whole week doing the FM and get everything out of the way and get all the prizes right away, or you could choose not to. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but if you choose not to, then you lose tokens, right?
Well, if you get just one prize a week.
Yeah, all you need is one prize to claim the token, but you can keep on. The way it reads is that you can keep on just accumulating points and buying stuff. That's how the raid. That's how the raid stores work.
Yeah, but again, if you don't want to bother getting the loser armor or the bullshit weapon, or wait, was it? Oh, it was the loser weapon and the bullshit armor. That's right.
Yeah.
Then you can kind of wait and spread out your work in the FM. You only have to get one loser or bullshit item.
Yeah, and we don't know what those timers are either. Like one of the things that I'm afraid of is like you get to Tier 5 or you start the FM and you're only going to have X amount of time to get that Tier 5 token, and it's going to be a lot of points, and then it's like, okay, now that's one way to balance it, but damn, that'll be annoying as hell. Especially if that 113 going to the 115 turns into that TLC target.
Yeah, with those extra rockets, that was pretty tricky.
Which means you have to refit
extra rockets. I was having more problems with the Zoes and stuff in there. Those missiles were what was hurting me a lot more.
Oh yeah, those ships hit pretty hard.
Yep. Yeah. And if you have the Zealous, you can't really depend on the duality for those because the duality gets shut down from the cold snap. So now you back down to just your phalanxes, and it's just that was a dirty ass target.
Except for now, we have a new
sprint, baby.
Yeah. Is that the next slide, Larry?
Yes, it is. Another good segue. Our show is filled with good segues this week. Good job, everybody.
Did the people that invented the Segway, aren't they bankrupt at this point?
I don't know.
Okay.
I did see a
thought there was a lot
Segway
of
tour
lawsuits. I thought there was a lot
down,
of lawsuits and whatnot, but
Is this a good time to throw up? Can you hear me now?
Oh, that's right. He was on a Segway for one of those commercials, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh, because he's Sprint now. And not. Oh God.
Oh, he's
Can
been
you hear me
hanging out
then?
with Jeff too much.
Oh my God, that guy. Good for him, man. You know. Okay, so this is.
well, he's better off than the Subway guy.
Well, yeah, much better.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah,
Subway
yeah.
guy he was fucked in the head anyway. So
What we need to do is see Paul riding one of these Segways with the Sprint mounted to it.
And now Rum knows him by his first name.
Paul. I am Paul.
I like Lily from AT&T better.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Lily from AT&T is great.
Surprised we don't have pictures. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so this is a countermeasure only weapon. This is based off the Trident, but this doesn't seem to have a missile associated with it. It's just the countermeasure.
yep. Even though there's missiles on top of it, but we'll just pass by that.
Yeah, art department, whatever. Those crazy guys. All right, so you look at it. It's a little heavy. Looks like it's retrofitted with the other countermeasures. It's got this funky reload time.
2.68 seconds. Yeah.
Well, but once it's skulled, you cut that down. That'll be pretty good, I think. I stack up a few of these.
It's a North Korean
Maybe.
version. Who knows? I mean, look, it's got fake missiles on the top. It's heavy as hell. It only does one thing. And just saying.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll see. You might still want it.
I'm definitely getting it. There's no question about that.
If it's that new 115 target, it looks like the TLC. You're gonna want this.
Yeah.
And I have some Zealous tokens sitting around still.
Hey, refit, baby.
By the way,
I might want to have 2 of those Zealous in that target if those Zoes are in there.
That's not a terrible idea. Have another Zealous totally loaded up with this. Yeah.
I mean, those if those missiles on those Zoes are in there, that's
so would you let the Zelos countermeasure take care of the mortars by themselves?
No, I'd have 2 of them. I'd have my regular tank, and then a second one that would be concentrating on missiles. Either that'd make this one a really heavy missile tank,
but it's almost getting to the point to where, with the duality countermeasure on there, you could actually put weapons and finish the target.
Right, but if you get hit by a cold snap, the duality doesn't work at all. You lose it.
George, I'm agreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, now instead of running through the other boats, maybe you just have a fleet of Zelos in there.
Maybe.
Because
Like
whatever the gun is destroying the 113s by themselves.
Yeah, I don't know if they want us to go towards a ballistic fleet in those targets.
No, we don't know. The guys are using them now. It's a great success, aren't they?
Yeah, but I wouldn't plan on having those work for the next raid cycle.
You mean FM?
Or FM cycle, yeah. I mean, at this point.
You got guys running through the 113s with 2 Zelos and finish them off.
Yep.
Well, we'll see if they're unhappy after next week. All right. I think it's about enough of this. And that's it for the slides. No hot chicks this week.
I noticed.
Yep. Finish your beer yet, Larry?
Just about to.
There you go.
Yes, I have.
All right. So I don't know. I mean, I think the only thing that I'm kind of worried about is that FM, because that is the gateway to the rest of the game, and the fact that they're changing the 88s and took out the uranium is really kind of troubling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from a bigger player perspective, I mean, I'm going to be pissed off about the 113 and having a refit or change a fleet to be able to do it, especially if we're on a timed thing for the. Oh, hold on. We got an answer from Rampage. So you can redeem as many prizes as you can earn points for each week. Tokens, as you can see in the above section, in each prize pool can be redeemed weekly as long as you meet the prerequisites.
Which are?
Prizes and tokens. I am working with the team to finalize them. I hope to have this information and be able to share it tomorrow. And target rebalancing, I don't have any additional information that I can share on the changes.
So the prerequisites goes back to what I was saying, possibly.
No, you have to get a item in that prize pool before you can get the token.
Or you have to have the whole prize pool.
Or you have to have the whole prize pool.
Then you wouldn't be able to redeem them weekly. You would be barred from redeeming them.
If you caught up and you redeem everything that day, then yes, you could get your token. But if you only go in and get one, you may not be able to.
Oh, I don't think they would do that. Not without. Yeah, but they're killing the reset.
Oh, God. Okay.
I mean, they're kickside, but and they have been, really rather asinine in the past, but I don't know that they've actually been blatantly stupid too many times.
At what point do you think? We'll see. Yeah, let's see. They brought out the icebreaker. That was brilliant in the first iteration. They brought out. Go ahead.
I like the icebreaker now.
Now, there's the key word. You just said it. Now, what about the very first weekend it came out? How great was it then?
Well, I didn't get it, so.
The very first iteration of it was fucking phenomenal, and I think that's why there was problems from then to the release to now.
Well, okay,
but that was a preview
play in the preview server. I'm talking about the general public, what we all had a chance to play with.
I mean, it wasn't bad. I used it in that first raid. I liked it. It was a pain in the ass to drive.
I remember all the posts all over the forum, everywhere, where what's this piece of shit? Why do we need it? Why are you screwing us with a second boat that we don't need? When they actually screwed up the other boat as well.
Well, they changed
3 different releases before the raid.
They
One coming a day before.
2 days before the raid. They changed the glut.
So Kix is asinine, but we really expect them to change. Just we'll wait and find out next week what happens.
Yeah, it seemed because we don't know if they changed the ship or changed the targets. Because if they change the projectile speeds on the cold snaps and things like that, it would cause it to work a lot better. We don't know if they changed anything at this point in time, but that would cause it to perform much better. So
they did put the projectile speed on the sprint blueprint, by the way.
Well, they put it on our stuff. We just don't know what their stuff is.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying as a change, they put it on ours like they were going to.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could collect some sort of intel on their stuff, like they would release after the first raid cycle. Okay, we won the raid. We beat back the Scourge or whoever we're fighting this week. And here we figured out what their blueprints are. We can't build them, but we know what they are. We know their ranges. We know their damage types. We know this kind of stuff. I would find that interesting, but maybe it's just I'm a small group of people that like to.
Yeah, I think I suggested that in a town hall or sometime to them way back that they should do that. Back when they were doing that stuff with the remember when you had the community bar, the sector bar, and you had to hit so much stuff to increase the sector bar and unlock the store in the sector. I thought the sector bar should have been to get intel on the
enemy
ship. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, like what damage types X is doing, because you can't even really tell anymore like what damage types are going on, or
that'd
the
be kinda
accuracy
cool.
of things, or
This is what we're all saying. Rom, glad you agree with us.
I'm not always counter social. You're gonna make me start playing Slipknot song "Psychosocial."
We can still mute you. It's okay.
Yeah, bite me, George.
All right.
oh, and cuttlefish. That's the way it's supposed to work. The Scourge Daily gives you uranium, not chest. Uh-oh. Are people muting people back and forth?
Looks
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so, I mean, personally, my big fear is, they're going to change the 113 to something that I'm going to have to refit my FM fleet for. And I'm not in the mood to refit that.
No, we're in the middle.
That wouldn't be good.
Yeah, we're in the middle of trying to build the 2 fleets that we need for raid now.
Right. Now you got to go back and redo the FM. Thank God for build tokens.
Yeah. Do I have monolith build tokens?
Oh, I
Maybe
got
I do.
Ton
Okay,
of
maybe I do. I just haven't.
I
looked.
do.
One of the things that I hope that they do, and I hope someone suggests it to them, I'll probably suggest it too, but I would like to see a transitional week so that we can actually see the new 115 while we still have the option hitting the 113 for the first
That's
week.
a good idea.
Because an absolute change, it's really not going to sit well if the targets suck.
Yeah. I mean, the transitional ones, so people can test them out and decide what to build for the next week, as opposed to a bunch of people bitching about how difficult they are. Yeah, that's always worked out better in the past, and hopefully they'll go forward with that.
I have 33 one-day monolith build tokens.
Okay.
So I'm sure you've got at least that many.
Filthy coiner.
No.
I've got I think 42 days of monolith, 24 of the gridiron,
Well,
23 icebreaker.
Depending on what they change, it's the Zealous is probably the one that we really want to worry about.
Yeah, and
I got 11 days of Zealous.
I've got 10 days of Zealous.
I got to stop blowing these things on testing.
I don't know.
George, we appreciate all your testing. I've given you permission to test whatever you want.
Remuneration.
I would gladly send you tokens if I could.
Yes, I'll send you some ship build tokens.
Damn.
Oh, man.
But
all right.
Is there anything else?
Show?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I can invite people to the show at this point. Let me see. I can post the link on the in chat for everybody if they'd like to join us, and see if anybody has any new blood to inject, besides bringing in things that are unknowns as far as what the Win 15 is going to be and how many points are we actually going to need. Oh, there we go.
Oh, here we go. Usual suspects.
Oh, come on. I got lucky to finish the tax exam early, so I came back here.
Very nice.
Tax exam?
So he does a
tax accounting.
Thumbtacks? Oh, tax accounting. Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the X.
Brass tacks.
Tax with 3 X's behind it. So, Brian, have you?
I'm going to disappoint you again.
So have you had a chance to take a look at the new FM?
I looked at the things and I heard what you guys were saying about it.
Okay.
I hope they fix it so that the tokens are at least reasonably similar to what we have now. Like, there's the limit of you can get a structure build token 0 out of 1, and yeah, that's what we all expected. But as long as we can get the same amount of tokens in all the run-throughs for the month, if that all averages out, then it'll be okay, I guess. So it's been 5 months since the sudden introduction of new FM targets, which means that we are moving at 0.91 times the speed of light relative to kicks, because That would mean 5 months for us, a year for them. So there we go. Time dilation. Really, that's all I had. I mean, I'm upset, but I'll wait and see how it comes to be.
I'm not upset yet. Until I see the targets, I'm not upset.
See, it's easier to be upset now and then be happy next week than it is to be happy this week full of false joy and then be upset next week.
I mean, I'll wait and see. I can't change it.
I'm not happy. I'm just saying I'm not upset yet.
You
Until
know,
they really upset me.
it's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
Oh my! What did you learn that this week, Larry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, you know, because I want to get wall sconces that look like beer
steins.
beer steins. Yeah, pint glasses.
It really doesn't.
Well, it does from the.
Well, it almost looked like a urinal too. So I mean, that's what he get rid of the beer.
I don't know what country you're from.
If you could piss
You'd
up
have to
that
stand on the
high,
ladder.
you would have better things to do than running around pissing in
Playing-
people's
I
houses.
mean, if you have earned it, I'm sure you might
I
be
mean, you know.
shocked.
The thing kind of
Playing
looks like it's just
Battle Pirate?
floating now.
You have to stand on that desk.
Well, you know, the nights at Larry's house get a little bit crazy sometimes. So
Well, the more beer you drink,
we've seen the unicorn masks and all that kind of good nonsense.
well, and the dreamsicle beer.
yeah.
I'm not saying he may have LSD in that can. Who knows?
Yeah, and who knows what he's using the telescope for? Can't
What?
be good.
God, really?
So back when Rampage first joined, I specifically warned him. This warned him to.
You're the one responsible for the freaking phrase.
Thank you. No, I told him to double check and make sure that things were right before posting them, and he might have still done that this time. I don't know.
And
This
still
is
missed
why I
about
say-
4 errors.
Well, you know, a day after he said the targets wouldn't be changing, the targets would be changing. And he apologized, and I don't think it's his fault. But the shows that happened to run on that day also said, hey, there were no changes. And now the people that said there were no changes, yeah, we have egg on our face, and it's not our fault. And it's not our fault, but the internet at large isn't going to see it that way. They're going to blame us, even though it's like actually proven not our fault. But it's the internet, so they don't think.
So Brian,
yeah.
the solution for that is public
Drink beer.
floggings?
Hey, I'm just actually kind of curious. Didn't Rampage just say the other day that there's not going to be changes to the FM targets?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
was in,
Like
that was
like
in
yesterday.
Yeah,
That was in his
yesterday.
missive.
Yeah,
He
like
said,
yesterday.
I'm sorry, I said there wasn't, but there will be.
Yeah, and he apologized today. Like fair
Yeah, he
to
did.
him.
But public floggings are the answer, correct?
I mean, maybe not of Rampage.
Right.
I would just like to know why they're feeling that they need to rebalance.
And why
the,
now?
The targets are out there. You know, we have a pretty decent sized community that kind of knows the mechanics. Someone's gonna break them to make them easy, and that's what happened. So you know what?
So there was
Live with it.
So there was a tech up campaign, and in that campaign, you could get ST4 and SP4, and you could change your routing such that if you sniped like the inside corner, you could get it so that you didn't have to go back out and kill the target. That was the only
I did
major
it.
change. I'm not attributing it to that, but if that's their breaking point, they really suck at this. And I'm gonna say that they really suck at this, but it's been 5 months. Why are the targets changing? There was even that proposed after 3 months we'll look at it and thinking about changing, and everyone said no because again, we weren't getting new tech. Now we're getting like incrementally better new tech, but if that's gonna break the target so much, it's kind of not our fault. Like you guys didn't test how this would do in the targets that it was probably going to be the most widely used in, that being the FM. So that's not our fault you guys don't test or can't test.
As we
It's
get
not-
better tech and better abilities with that tech, shouldn't the targets become easier?
I mean, you'd like to think so. That's what the escalation theoretically would be, because when the new FM targets first came out, like 2 weeks preempting the end of the raid cycle, so few people had on the D85Ds. They just didn't have everything ready because unless you did every run of every Call to Arms monolith available at that point, you really couldn't do that. And you had to get those tokens and spend that time. So it wasn't really feasible for the average person to be able to do that. I guess now it is, but it shouldn't be.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Should we go to the after show? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to introduce.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say going to the after show. If you had something to say, go ahead, Mike.
No, it's not relevant. It's probably more relevant in the after show.
No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Magic Mike. He's working.
Okay, I just get a gosh darn fleet that'll do the frickin' thing decent.
And now they're going to change it on you.
Change that darn thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are nowhere near alone in your plight.
I just got there.
I mean, that's the thing. Like I've just gotten in the last, I'd say, month, maybe 4 or 5 people to the point where they're able to start going into the 113s finally. And I mean, what I don't understand is they allegedly tune these targets under the presumption of the highest released weapons, right? Well, you guys know this stuff's coming out ahead of time. It's not like you guys coded this like a week before release, right? Why do we have to change the targets to take into account, the new specials when you knew months ago this was coming?
Oh, it's frustrating.
Well, I assume this is going to be an excuse. I assume this is why Tech Up happened.
Dude, that last
assuming
target,
the Tech Up stuff is going to be in this.
Yeah, if that Tech Up target, that last one is in the FM as the 115, all hell is going to break out.
But I'm saying the prizes as well.
The Tech Up prizes?
Oh, that'll be interesting.
That's what I'm more thinking
Maybe.
happened, that the Tech Up prizes are going to be some of the new FM prizes in order to allow people that thought they were all caught up on the FM but didn't complete that, force them to.
It wasn't Tech Up. It was Skyfire Elite, was it not? For the target.
Yeah, Skyfire.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because I'm talking about
the tech out of Tech Up, right?
Yeah. If you didn't claim it all, that it'll probably be available at this point. But again, I'm just speculating. So, all right. Well, anybody have anything? Parting words? Do we want to hear about anybody's Halloween costumes that they're working on, or anything of that nature?
I think we should all go as it and have red balloons.
I actually do want to do a little bit more speculating, a little bit, because that target, now that I'm thinking about it, was really more tuned for an icebreaker fleet, right? Because I think I got like an hour and a half damage doing it with my icebreaker fleet. But the thing is, if that happens where they change the top fleet for an FM, that's just gonna like reiterate the whole you need 2 fleets out of each raid cycle now.
Yeah.
I'm the more I think about this, the more leery I'm becoming.
Dock space, anyone?
What?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I want to have them encourage dock space because I know why they did that originally. But yeah, storage space, I don't understand why they don't increase storage space unless it's a technical issue.
So, speaking of good ideas, I had another good idea that I suggested to Kixeye recently, and I call it the museum. Okay?
Okay.
And the thing, so here's the thing, right? When you're scrapping old ships, usually it's just you're pissed because you spent time on them and now they're just gone and they're not even pixels anymore. Right? Usually the ships you scrap aren't ships you're using. Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
So if you have a museum, when you scrap it, you move it to the museum, you can still look at it, you can still see its stats, and then even better yet, maybe make it so your museum's shareable on your page or through your profile or something like that, so then other people can see your museum and you could like show off these cool ships you used to have.
Yeah,
I think that would be cool.
That's a cool idea. The only thing is, like, I really want the most space because I still use odd stuff now and again. Like, I pulled up my Aegis and my Halux Aegis last week. You know, I don't
Okay.
want to scrap them because weird stuff. I mean, you never know when something's going to come in handy, and scrapping stuff that, you know, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, a couple good examples would be like the Savage Kodiak.
Still got that.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few. Yeah. But you know, like I scrapped tigers last week.
A lot of people scrapped them because they were too slow and whatnot. But a lot of people scrapped them early on before we saw, a new life for them. That was probably unintended by Kixeye. But more than a museum, maybe you can take that bad boy off the shelf and use it every once in a while. Maybe one, or that seems more complicated. I just see increasing the storage space would probably be a good idea because people want to be able to reuse this stuff. I mean, I'm still melting down, Predators. I still have 3 full fleets.
Wow.
I melted down.
I was lying, but I was waiting to see what Larry's reaction was going to be.
Like what? I don't know. Because so I look at it, if you want to look at your allocation, right? I look at it as about 15 ships of each of the PvE classes, right? So it's essentially the 2 latest fleets and then one of the legacy fleets, right? So that's 60 ships right there. And then you have the other 60 for PvP ships. So some guards and some of the, but you end up with a lot of PvP ships, all those rivals. And I think, I don't know. And they're not all useful, but you don't want to scrap them yet.
Well, I just went through and scrapped my Spites. I scrapped I've
scrapped Furies.
I scrapped Furies. I scrapped Hellwraiths.
I haven't scrapped those yet, but they're on the block.
I was glad to do that. Yeah.
Hi, you're on camera.
Oh. It's Miss BP Professor again. This has been a long time since she made an appearance.
Okay.
Does that mean you need to go, Larry?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Tell her to come say hi. The whole crowd's waiting for her to come say hi now.
Everybody wants you to come back.
Or Larry. Or George does.
George was.
There we go.
So where's the beer for him?
No beer.
Oh, she can't hear you. They're asking why you don't have a beer for me. Oh, thanks.
Now, just all of a sudden, we see a beer coming across the screen and hitting him in the head. Here's your beer.
What?
Like a t-shirt cannon, but it shoots beer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Always something fun. Always something fun.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, should we proceed to the after show at this point?
Yeah, I gotta eat. Come on, hurry
Before
up.
Larry gets in trouble.
Yeah.
He might already be in trouble.
Yeah.
Nah.
All right. Well, I guess everybody have fun with the FM in the future. We'll see more next week. And join us on Friday night. And we probably won't know anymore, but we can probably talk some more.
Did she bring you a beer? Oh,
this one's
Yingling Light. Oh, okay. She's
no lager. It's not light. I don't buy light beer.
Oh, okay.
She's staring.
She's weaning you off the dreamsicles.
She's gonna take the telescope and hit you in the head with it.
No, she's nice. Alrighty. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see everybody on Friday, and have fun, everybody.
All right. Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
All right.